Hey, my name's Tim Russell. You remember the Sun Machine Powerhouse I've been telling the entire world about for so long now? I haven't heard a word from the government. So I think I'm going to show you at home how you can make this yourself. Get off the power grid. Be independent. We don't need the power companies any longer. Now I'm going to show you step by step what it takes to make your own power source. You don't need the power companies any longer. I'm fixing to show you how to do it yourself. Let me show you step number one. Now I'm going to show you what components you need to make your own personal prototype at your own house. I'm going to show you how to put an AC and a DC current together to make it one circular current. I'm going to show you how to combine an AC current and a DC current without canceling each other out. It's physically never been able to be done in the world yet, but I'm fixing to show you how to do it. This is the first look of the homemade perpetual motion machine. It doesn't use magnets. It doesn't use the wind. It doesn't use rain. It uses nothing but its internal parts to make it work. This, again, is my own personal design, which took me quite a while to perfect, but it is perfected. So now, I'm going to show you how that you can have this yourself. It can be modified with 60 hertz generators, same setup, same design, same wiring harness, and it'll run your home indefinitely for the next 1,000 years. Now the first thing you're going to have is a 5,000 watt inverter that will convert a DC current into an AC current. Now the second components you're going to have are two 90 amp alternators to give you power. The third components you're going to have are two extremely high cranking amp batteries that will supply you a DC current. The fourth component you're going to have is a 400 watt inverter. The fifth component that you're going to have to make this machine work is a high-powered 50 horsepower DC motor. The 50 horsepower DC motor is a magnet motor, not a wire motor. It doesn't get as hot as a wire motor, but it still needs to be cooled, which means you may need a fan for cooling the motor. For this particular machine, to start the power, you need also 3 regular wall light switches. Now I'm going to show you how to separate an AC and a DC current that's in the same box without canceling each other out. On this side we have a DC car battery. In front of it we have a DC 90 amp alternator. And on top we have a DC magnet motor, 50 horsepower. Now this side of the machine is separate from that side of the machine, and this is how that works. This battery supplies power to this motor. This motor then turns at 1,000 RPMs. It has a 12-inch aluminum wheel on it, which the alternator has a 3-inch, and you have 10 rotations on the bottom wheel for 1 rotation on the top, which gives you 10,000 RPMs on the bottom wheel. Which at 10,000 RPMs will power the battery, which will keep the motor running, which will keep the alternator charging the battery, and it's one circular current that's never interfered with. Now this will run for the next 1,000 years, just like your car. If it had 1,000 gallons of gas and you set it on idle, it'll run and never stop running. Now on this side, you have a high cranking amp battery. You have a 90 amp alternator. The alternator supplies power for the battery. Then the battery comes into the back of a 5,000 watt inverter, which produces an AC current. Now, the AC current that is produced by this will always be eternal. And the only way that that's possible is because using the DC side, which is never interfered with, which is put together by a piece of rubber. So it never touches, except for the piece of rubber. And in turn, will always supply energy to turn this alternator to supply power to the rear battery, which supplies power to your inverter. So on this side here, you have a DC current, which is eternal. You never plug nothing into it. There is no interference at all. On this side, there's an AC current, which there's nothing ever going to interfere with it. You can plug as much as you want into this. It'll never touch that side, which is actually the power supply, and give you eternal electricity. Now, the way that you do this, you don't need the wind, you don't need magnets, you don't need anything to make this thing run. It's as simple as this. Flip a switch. You come back here. Use the 400 watt inverter to power your fan. Which keeps the motor cool. Now, the inverter, turn the inverter on. We have a DC light plugged into it. Check it out. It works. It won't stop running for 10,000 years if it's properly maintained. Which means you'll have electricity forever. It can be modified with 60 hertz generators to run your home. It can be modified with 120 hertz generators to run the military in Siberia. Doesn't matter how much energy you need, it will supply all 100% guaranteed. So if you don't think it works, well, there you go. There's your proof. So an endless supply of electricity without any outside power source. The power companies are done. They're finished. They're obsolete. We don't need them any longer. I am able to give you free electricity for life. And right, here's your proof. Now I have given you the power to be independent, away from the power companies, and get off the power grid. Become independent from the power company. Now you're able to own your own power source. Together, we can make a change. My name is Tim Russell. I will be personally responsible for shutting every power company on Earth down once and for all.